What's the purpose of Alpha Omega Wrestling here in the Winter Gardens?
The purpose is mainly to bring attention back to Morecambe. Morecambe was a thriving town. The Winter Gardens was a thriving venue, absolutely beautiful venue, and it still is. We're hoping by bringing wrestling back to one of the major hotbeds of wrestling in the UK, we can bring everything back to how it's supposed to be.
Why have you decided to set up a wrestling organisation?
Wrestling has a rich history in Morecambe. People may not be aware of it. Everyone sees wrestling in America. They don't see wrestling in Britain. They only know about Big Daddy, who has performed in Morecambe. There's been wrestling at the Pier. There's been wrestling at the Dome. There's been wrestling at the Winter Gardens in the past. And we just want to bring the attention back to show people wrestling in Morecambe is one of the biggest places in the UK for the sport.
What challenges have you faced with the Winter Gardens here?
Well, there's been several different challenges with it. It's very old buildings, very cold, especially during winter. There's no heating at the moment. There's a slope floor. No one tends to put wrestling on a slope floor. We came in and thought, we can do this. So we've modified our rings specially for the Winter Gardens. Great cost to ourselves and onto the Winter Gardens, of course. So the ring now fits level on a slope floor. All the wrestlers come in and they're like, that's a bit different. When they get in, it's just like any other ring.
And what kind of crowds are you attracting, and what do people think when they come here to the Winter Gardens?
Amazingly enough, we're getting crowds of anything. We've had kids here that are from months old, like 6, 7 months old, watching it and getting drawn in by it. And we've had a lady who came in, she was sitting in the front row, 93 years old. So we've had people of all ages, all backgrounds. They go, oh, no, you know what, I'm not really interested. And you come in, they get drawn in, they love it. It's fantastic for everyone.
What's the history of the Winter Gardens?
Well, the building was built in 1897 and it was open till 1977, and then it closed and it's been closed ever since till 2006, till the Friends bought the building.
What sort of artists and what sort of history has this place had?
Oh gosh, lots of history. I mean, in 1947, Laurel and Hardy came for a full week and performed at the Winter Gardens. George Formby was a regular during the war, raising money for the war efforts. And then in the 1950s and 60s, there was lots of big stars.
How can wrestling help to put the Winter Gardens back on the map?
Well, one of the previous owners of the building sold all the seats in the stalls, which when we bought it, it looked such a vast area, it's such a huge area. And so instead of using it as a 2,150-seater theatre, which would be impossible to fill 7 nights of the week, we decided to turn it into a multi-purpose area. And the wrestling, they came along, asked us if they could use the theatre, and we're very grateful to them because they come every 2 months and use it. We have lots of people in, there's lots of followers for wrestling.
So if you thought about Morecambe, what would you think about? A seaside town that's gone to the dogs? The Winter Gardens really is an impressive building, but can wrestling really save it? Let's talk to one of the wrestlers and see what he's all about. And what's it like to wrestle in front of these crowds here?
The fact is, it doesn't matter if the people love me or hate me, they always give me a reaction. It is real in Morecambe. Wrestling in Morecambe is real emotion from the fans.
Why should we save this venue?
Have you been to the venue? Have you seen the venue? It's one of the best venues the UK has to offer, and the state it's in right now is a joke. It needs to be fixed, it needs to be sorted, because wrestlers like me can be recognised properly then. I'm a money maker, I'm the psychotic warrior Johnny Fear. People need to come to the Winter Gardens to see me entertain them. That will bring money into Morecambe, it'll bring money to the Winter Gardens, and this place can be fixed.
So Johnny Fear, the big man, wrestling here in October. One thing I'd like to ask you though, wrestling, it's all a fake, isn't it? I'll take that as a no. Roland Gent, that's Lancashire.